In many parts of the world, especially in regions with long-forgotten mining history or active geological activity, rivers serve as natural treasure chests. Over thousands of years, streams carry minerals from upstream deposits, grinding and polishing them until they resemble ordinary stones. But among the gravel and smooth gray pebbles, there are often hidden gems, literally. Quartz crystals, jasper, agates, garnets, and even flakes of gold can be found nestled among riverbed rocks. The key is knowing what to look for. Many people walk past what they think are simple stones, unaware that some of them hold real value either due to rarity, beauty, or geological significance. In some cases, a single overlooked stone has changed a person's life or sparked entire careers in gemology and mineral hunting. One of the easiest giveaways is luster. River stones that reflect sunlight in a bright, glassy way may not be ordinary at all. Smooth, shiny stones can indicate the presence of quartz or chalcedony, while those with deep reds or greens might be garnets or jade. Black stones with a metallic shine could even be magnetite or hematite, both of which often occur near more valuable minerals. Those who know how to identify these telltale signs have a major advantage. With patience and observation, it becomes clear that rivers don't just carry water, they carry clues. In areas where glacial activity or volcanic formations once occurred, rivers often cut through mineral-rich zones, dislodging fragments of larger deposits and transporting them for miles. This natural erosion process is what makes riverbeds a rich hunting ground for anyone with a keen eye. Another powerful clue is weight. Many gemstones and valuable minerals are denser than the typical rocks found in rivers. If a stone feels unexpectedly heavy for its size, it's worth a closer look. Some people have mistaken pieces of raw sapphire or spinel for simple gray pebbles, only to discover their true identity years later. In regions like Montana, North Carolina, and parts of the Pacific Northwest, rivers have produced sapphires, garnets, and even rare zircon crystals. In California and Alaska, it's not unheard of to find nuggets of native gold, polished by decades of tumbling downstream. Children playing by the riverbank have unknowingly kicked million-year-old treasures without ever realizing it. Color is also a key indicator. While many river rocks are dull or uniformly gray, any stone that displays bright colors, especially reds, purples, blues, or oranges, deserves attention. Iron-rich minerals can stain rocks with vivid tones, but embedded within these may also be carnelian, agate, or jasper. A translucent red stone might look like plastic at first glance but could turn out to be a high-quality piece of carnelian, prized by jewelers and collectors. Even milky white stones should not be dismissed. Some are opals or moonstones in their rough form, especially if found in areas with known volcanic activity. These gemstones are often coated in river residue, and a simple rinse can reveal a gleaming core underneath what looked like a plain rock just moments before. Perhaps the most thrilling part of riverbed hunting is the mystery. No two stones are exactly the same, and each one has its own story, a journey that could stretch back millions of years. Some stones found in riverbeds have traveled from the core of a mountain to the banks of a quiet stream, collecting scars, fractures, and unique patterns that make them one of a kind. When cut and polished, they can reveal mesmerizing swirls, color bands, or reflective surfaces that capture light like a prism. There's a sense of wonder in holding a stone that nature has shaped so perfectly without human interference. It brings geology to life in a way textbooks never can. For people who are curious and observant, rivers become more than just bodies of water. They become trails leading to Earth's hidden vaults. In some extraordinary cases, what began as a casual walk by the river turned into life-changing discovery. There are stories of hikers finding opalized wood, which looks like a dull brown branch but is actually a fossil turned to shimmering stone. Others have discovered blue-green beryl crystals lodged inside granite fragments or spotted raw emeralds poking out of clay beds after a storm. A few lucky individuals have come across ancient meteorites, their metallic surfaces weathered smooth by centuries in the current. These finds aren't common, but they do happen, and they always begin the same way, with someone picking up a stone that looked slightly out of place. There's no fancy equipment needed, just curiosity, awareness, and sometimes a bit of luck. For those willing to look more closely, rivers offer more than scenery. They present opportunities, lessons, and sometimes even fortune. Every bend, rapid, or shallow edge has the potential to reveal something rare. Rocks that catch the light in unusual ways, stones that sparkle after a rinse, or chunks with embedded crystals might not just be beautiful, they might be valuable. Many successful gem hunters started out with a simple walk and a handful of curious finds. What separates them from others isn't access to exclusive tools or secret locations, it's the ability to notice what most people ignore. In this way, rivers reward not just effort, but attention. The treasure isn't always in what you find, but in learning to see. Some of the most overlooked riverbed stones are those with unusual textures. While smoothness is typical due to the constant tumbling of water, stones with pitted surfaces, fine ridges, or crystal-like bumps can be strong indicators of volcanic origin or mineral growth. Volcanic stones like obsidian often appear jet black and glassy, while pumice is surprisingly light and porous. But between these extremes are stones like rhyolite and basalt that can contain embedded crystals. If you notice a stone with small, shiny points that sparkle under sunlight, there's a chance it contains feldspar, quartz, or even minute garnets. These textures tell a geological story of pressure, heat, and chemical transformation. Every ridge, bubble, or fracture is a clue to its mineral identity and origin. Learning to recognize these traits can make the difference between ignoring a stone and discovering a specimen worthy of a collection or sale. In areas known for former mining activity, old riverbeds often conceal discarded material from historical operations. Miners in the 1800s and early 1900s didn't always recognize the value of stones we now know to be semi-precious. As a result, old tailings and stream beds near abandoned mines are potential gold mines, literally and figuratively. A stone they tossed aside as worthless might now be a rare type of tourmaline, topaz, or even unrecognized gold ore. These spots, often dismissed as overworked or depleted, are quietly yielding valuable finds to modern-day collectors who bring updated knowledge and sharper eyes. There's a kind of poetic justice in this, where nature returns value to those willing to look again where others have stopped searching. A muddy rock with reddish specks may not seem like much, until you wash it off and discover pyrope garnets clustered inside, glowing like embers. Weather plays a critical role in uncovering riverbed treasures. After a heavy rainfall or seasonal flooding, water levels shift dramatically and expose new layers of sediment. Strong currents move gravel and silt, sometimes unearthing larger rocks that had been buried for decades. This is why experienced hunters often revisit the same spots multiple times a year. A place that looked ordinary in summer may become a field of opportunities in spring. Rain can also clean stone surfaces naturally, revealing colors and patterns that are usually masked by dust or algae. Some of the best finds happen immediately after nature has done the heavy lifting, and all that's left is for someone to notice what's been revealed. For those who understand this cycle, each storm is a chance at discovery, not just a weather event. Another secret many overlook is the role of light. A stone that looks dull in shade might sparkle under direct sunlight. Early morning and late afternoon light can expose translucency or internal textures that are invisible at noon. Turning a stone in your hand and watching how it reacts to light is a powerful tool. Some stones, like opals, labradorite, or sunstone, reveal their beauty only when tilted at the right angle. These optical effects aren't just pretty, they're clues to mineral composition and value. In the right conditions, even a plain gray rock can flash with fire. Observing stones from multiple angles, especially when they're wet, mimics the way gemologists examine raw materials before cutting. It's a simple but effective way to see beyond the surface and catch glimpses of hidden brilliance. Collectors also pay attention to fracture patterns. Some stones break in curved, smooth lines, a property called conchoidal fracture, often seen in quartz, flint, and obsidian. This characteristic can signal the presence of glassy minerals used in ancient tools or high-end jewelry. A clean break that leaves a ripple or shell-like pattern is often a better indicator of value than color alone. Even a cloudy or milky stone can be valuable if it breaks in a way that reveals clear internal structure or interesting inclusions. These hidden features, like air bubbles, mineral veins, or trapped plant matter, add uniqueness and often increase desirability among collectors. Stones are like books written by geological forces, and every crack or chip reveals another chapter. Human history is also tied deeply to riverbed stones. Native cultures around the world used specific rocks for tools, ceremonial items, and trade. In North America, flint, jasper, and obsidian were essential materials for arrowheads, knives, and ritual objects. It's not uncommon for river explorers to stumble upon ancient worked stones, still sharp, still recognizable after centuries. While it's illegal in many areas to remove artifacts, finding such items is a reminder that riverbeds are more than geological sites, they are cultural archives. Each stone has potentially touched generations, shaped by nature and used by human hands. The value isn't always financial. Sometimes, it's historical. For those with respect and curiosity, these findings deepen the experience and expand the meaning of discovery. Modern tools can help, but they're not always necessary. A simple loupe or magnifying glass allows closer inspection of crystal structures, patterns, or small inclusions. A magnet can identify stones with high iron content like magnetite or hematite. Even a flashlight at night can expose translucency and glow in stones like chalcedony or certain varieties of agate. These tools, while helpful, don't replace the most important asset: patience. Most valuable finds aren't sitting at the surface waiting to be picked up. They're nestled under gravel, half covered in sand, or disguised by algae. Kneeling, washing, turning over stones, these small acts of effort are often the steps that lead to meaningful discoveries. People who rush through a riverbed might never see what's really there. But those who slow down and observe find that the earth speaks quietly through shape, weight, and shimmer. While it's true that not every stone is a treasure, the process of searching changes how people see the world around them. A casual walk becomes a lesson in color, form, and patience. Water becomes a conveyor of stories. What begins as a hobby becomes a deeper connection with nature and time. People start to notice patterns in stone arrangements, erosion on banks, or even the sound of water shifting gravel during a flood. And occasionally, this heightened awareness leads to something rare. A stone that glitters just right, that feels just a bit too heavy, that seems just a little too perfect to be ordinary. That's when the real excitement begins. Because in that moment, you're no longer just exploring, you're discovering. In some remarkable cases, people have unknowingly walked past stones worth thousands of dollars, mistaking them for nothing more than wet pebbles. One such story involves a man in the Appalachian Mountains who picked up what he thought was a chunk of glass. It turned out to be a sizable chunk of raw sapphire, valued at several $1,000s after cleaning and appraisal. Another story out of Oregon involves a woman who regularly walked her dog along a river trail. One day, she noticed a stone that seemed to glow under the morning light. When examined closely, it revealed streaks of blue and green within a milky surface. That stone turned out to be a type of opal with vivid play of color, later cut and sold as part of a custom necklace. These aren't just urban legends, they're real accounts of ordinary people who paused, observed, and picked up what others would have ignored. And in doing so, they connected with something ancient, rare, and surprisingly valuable. The emotional impact of these discoveries can't be understated. Finding a potential gemstone in a riverbed is more than just a lucky break. It taps into a primal sense of wonder and satisfaction. There's something incredibly rewarding about finding value in nature through your own awareness and effort. For children, it's a thrilling introduction to science and patience. For adults, it often reignites a sense of curiosity that daily routines tend to dull. Entire families take to rivers together, sharing knowledge and learning as they explore. And for retirees or people living near mineral-rich regions, it can become a fulfilling and surprisingly profitable pastime. The joy doesn't come only from what the stones are worth, but from what they represent: time, transformation, and the silent beauty of the earth waiting to be noticed. In recent years, this growing interest has led to the formation of local rockhounding clubs, online communities, and weekend meetups where people exchange tips, show off finds, and teach newcomers how to identify promising stones. These communities are built not on competition but on shared passion and collective learning. Social media has further fueled this wave, with short videos and photos of clean stones drawing millions of views. Suddenly, a muddy rock on a riverbank becomes the centerpiece of a viral story. The excitement is contagious. It encourages people from all backgrounds to pick up a rock and ask, "What if?" That question alone opens the door to discovery, learning, and sometimes even life-changing opportunities. It reminds us that the world still holds secrets, not in locked vaults, but in the flowing water and beneath our feet. Still, it's important to approach riverbed searching with responsibility. Always respect local laws and environmental regulations. Some areas prohibit collecting stones in large quantities or removing them entirely. In others, you may need permission from landowners or permits from local authorities. Ethical collecting means preserving the natural landscape, taking only what is truly special, and leaving the area better than it was found. It also involves learning, not just grabbing anything that looks unusual, but understanding what you're taking and why it matters. Responsible collectors often carry small brushes and water bottles to rinse stones on site, making it easier to identify them without removing too many. Some even return unwanted stones to the same area, allowing the river to continue shaping them for someone else's future discovery. One of the most powerful realizations for many beginners is that value isn't always measured in money. A stone with no market worth might still be geologically significant or emotionally priceless. Fossils, for example, are often illegal to sell but priceless to science and education. A fossilized shell embedded in sandstone tells a story of ancient seas, climates, and life forms. Holding one is like holding a piece of Earth's memory. Likewise, a stone passed down through generations, once dismissed as a keepsake, may turn out to be a rare mineral or even a historical artifact. The personal meaning attached to such finds often transcends monetary value. For some, it's about reconnecting with childhood memories. For others, it's about creating something beautiful, a pendant, a ring, a polished display, that carries the energy of discovery. As more people discover this rewarding hobby, they begin to see the world differently. Roadside ditches, hiking trails, and neighborhood creeks transform from background scenery into places of possibility. The habit of observing details, textures, patterns, colors, bleeds into other areas of life. People become more patient, more curious, more open to the idea that small things can hold great meaning. And occasionally, this shift in mindset brings tangible reward, a stone that shines just right, that sells for enough to pay for a vacation or support a growing passion. But even when it doesn't, the reward remains in the process. The act of searching becomes a ritual, a quiet pursuit of beauty and knowledge in a world that often moves too fast to notice either. In the end, riverbed stones remind us of the hidden richness all around us. They teach that treasures aren't always buried deep beneath the earth or locked behind security glass. Sometimes, they lie in plain sight, disguised as common, waiting for the right eyes. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson these stones offer, that value is everywhere, but only visible to those who look. The river doesn't choose who finds its gems, it simply carries them along, offering them freely to those with the curiosity to reach down and pick them up. Whether for profit, passion, or the sheer joy of discovery, those who take the time to search often find more than just rocks. They find stories. They find moments. And sometimes, they find a treasure that was waiting just for them.